I am extremely pleased and honored to be officiating today's event as we celebrate 20 years since the adoption of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. I wish to convey my sincerest appreciation to the University of the South Pacific and its leaders for inviting me to officiate and open such historic event. I'm immensely proud that this event includes a regional youth seminar that has brought many students and youths who are our future and will be not in the too distant future, lead the Blue Pacific in its forward journey. Ladies and gentlemen, corruption is an issue of critical concern that hinders the sustainable development and threatens peace, security, and stability. As you may recall, the leaders of the Pacific have already strengthened the cause to this very issue via the Bowie Declaration, the Teinewa Vision, and most recently adopted the 2050 Strategy for Blue Pacific. I am indeed pleased to note that official representatives from our Blue Pacific are also present with our future leaders at this important event. The United Nations Convention Against Corruption in the 20 years since its adoption provided a guideline and facilitated preventative measures that enabled international cooperation and technical assistance, among other various forms of support to fight corruption, seeing that it is the only legally binding universal anti-corruption instrument. Ladies and gentlemen, Fiji has been part of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption since 2008 and has progressed well in its path of its implementation. Fiji is also committed to the implementation of the Agenda 2030 and achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, and we would like to acknowledge the importance of SDG number 16 on peace, justice, and strong institutions, and its anti-corruption and good governance targets and indicators, which is an instrumental guide in our national effort against corruption. As mentioned earlier, among other important regional commitments is the Pacific Unity Against Corruption, called the Teinewa Vision, adopted by Fiji along with 17 other Pacific Island leaders at the Pacific Islands Forum. By committing to the implementation of the vision, Fiji has reinforced its anti-corruption commitment and values of anti-corruption. Ladies and gentlemen, promoting integrity and anti-corruption is essential for our broader good governance efforts and is an instrumental part of the 2050 strategy for the Blue Pacific continent, which sets out the region's approach in working collaboratively to achieve our long-term development visions. In fact, it is one of the strategic pathways to guide our broad trajectory over the short, medium, and long term. This is why these anti-corruption efforts are very important to advance our regional and national development visions. Fiji's commitment to tackling corruption is not an end to itself. The relevant international and regional commitments are very useful platforms for us to reflect broadly upon and work on addressing issues on how to effectively promote transparency, accountability, and integrity to ensure the effective use of our national resources to improve development outcomes and afford better lives for the citizens of Fiji. It is against this backdrop that the Pacific Youth, led by the University of the South Pacific Student Association, in partnership with the UNDP, with the general support from donors such as the Government of the United Kingdom, has been at the forefront of the anti-corruption agenda in the Pacific, creating an unprecedented youth anti-corruption movement in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to note that these youth anti-corruption efforts are focused on enhancing integrity, anti-corruption, and the right to information advocacy across the entire Blue Pacific region that have resulted in the adoption of the Pacific Youth Vision of a corruption-resilient 2050 Blue Pacific. I have been reliably informed that this vision demonstrates a clear demand from Pacific youths for a structured dialogue on good governance and anti-corruption, which should further anchor youth ambitions in the key regional strategic documents, including the Teinawa Vision and the 2050 Pacific Strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, the most significant aspect of this entire cause is that this youth movement is driven and led by Pacific youth. This is a positive indication that the youths of the Pacific do not tolerate corruption and demand to sit at the dialogue table and be part of the anti-corruption policy think tank. As leaders, we have received the message derived from this youth mission as a formal representation of the collective voices of youth in the region, and we recognize that it is the demonstration of the youth's power in the region and readiness for policy impact which this movement is already making. In fact, it is only through such cooperative and collaborative undertakings that the corruption can be removed from society. The Pacific Youth Movement sets an example for the world about regional unity, solidarity, and working together to ensure progress against corruption. This event, in commemoration with the 20th anniversary of the UNAC, is an important reminder for all of us to continue working together with a recognition and appreciation of the continued commitment of the youths to integrity and anti-corruption. We need to make a stand, ready to continue supporting this unprecedented youth anti-corruption movement and embrace our youth as part of our ongoing policy dialogues and concrete actions to eradicate corruption as per international, regional, and national commitments, including UNICAC, which we celebrate today. With those few words, I officially open the Regional Youth Seminar and congratulate each and every one of you for coming together to celebrate the 20 years of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. May God bless us all and may God bless the Blue Pacific. Now, I live.
Thank you, Excellency. I now request Director of the Level